Good morning friends, welcome to the point. In today's video we will discuss the difference between what is loan waiver and the loan write-off. So starting off the video with what is loan waiver. So as the name suggests, loan waiver means complete cancellation of recovery of loan. For an example, if PNB is Punjab National Bank, which has extended loan to ABC Limited of let's suppose 10 crores, and now one day PNB decides that all the loan that PNB has extended to ABC has been waived off, which means that now ABC is under no obligation to pay back this 10 crores to PNB, and there no more exists debtor and creditor relationship between PNB and ABC, as ABC is free from debt and no loan stands in it ABC's balance sheet. So loan waiver means total or complete cancellation of recovery of loan. So once the loan is waived off, the debtor is free from paying the loan and is not bound to pay it back. Loan waiver causes huge loss to the banks, as amount now will not be recovered, as the debtor is now forbidden from paying the loan back. Though sometimes banks or the government of the country practice such loan waiver, but if you see the overall impact of loan waiver is that it causes huge losses to the exchequer, which means that it is the citizens' money that was being deposited with the bank, though they are also paid back. But if you see the overall impact is that it causes loss to the economy, because the loan which was paid or extended to the corporates or the person defaulting will never come back or will never be repaid. So it is the common man's money that is going into vain. So loan waiver, if you see, is as such not a good practice to follow. It is often seen in news that the government resorts to farm loan waiver with onset of election campaigns in their state. If you would have noticed the news, whenever there is state elections coming up, often the government of that state resorts to waiving of the farm loan. So after that, the farmers are not liable to pay the money back to the banks. Now this practice is what is termed as vote bank politics, where the farm loans which have been taken by the farmers are often waived off in order to fetch more and more votes. Moving on to the next slide, which talks about loan write-off. So in the previous slide which talked about loan waive-off, it was a complete cancellation of loan that takes place. But in case of loan write-off, the debtor is still under the obligation to repay the loan. It is just that the banks remove the amount from their balance sheet. So I'll explain you through an example. This is the liability side and the asset side. Whenever this is the bank's balance sheet which we are making. So in the asset side, whenever a bank extends loan to the people or to corporate sector, the amount is shown in the asset side, right? Whenever it is paid back, the amount is reduced because the assets are now being reduced. So whenever the loan is extended, there's a plus figure, and whenever the loan is repaid, so a minus in this figure. So what if after some time the bank realizes that the amount, let's suppose 100 crores standing here, is not being serviced by the debtor? That means debtor is not paying the amount. So after certain point of time, the if you see, these are assets, though it is an asset, but it is a non-performing asset, that is, which is of no value to the bank. So what bank will do after a point of time will write off or remove this 100 crore standing here from its balance sheet to show the correct picture as to what is the exact amount of the assets in the balance sheet of the bank. So when the banks remove the amount of non-performing assets from its balance sheet, it is said to be a practice called loan write-off. It also at the same time does not mean that the debtor is not under the obligation to pay back the loan. It is just that the bank is removing this figure from the balance sheet to present the correct picture to its investors. So writing off a loan or asset means considering that it does not have a future value or no longer serves the purpose because it has become a non-performing asset. Why it has become a non-performing asset? Because the payments on it of the principal and the interest is not being paid by the debtor. A non-performing asset is written off after all the avenues of recovery are exhausted and chances of recovery of due loan seems to be remote or very bleak. So the chances which banks think that the loan will be paid are very bleak or very minimal. Banks are often seen writing off their loans to clean their balance sheet, as I told, to show the correct picture to the investors. The major difference between the loan write-off and loan waiver is that in case of loan write-off, borrowers of such loans still remains liable for payment. Now this is the only main point that you have to remember, and this is the key difference between loan write-off and loan waiver, that in case of write-off it is just that the amount is removed from the balance sheet, but the debtor still stands liable to pay the amount. But in case of waiver, the debtor is totally excused from paying off the loan. There are several cases when such bad accounts were written off, but loan recovery was done. Recovery of such accounts, however, takes time, as it is done through legal course of action. So once the amount is removed, so the balance sheet is clean, but the bank still chases the debtor by some way or the other, either by doing the debt restructuring or by following some legal course that is moving to the court to recover the loan from the debtor. So in case of write-off, it is the debtor is not excused, whereas in waive-off, the debtor is excused. So friends, this is all for today's topic. Please keep revising, stay fit, stay at home. Thank you so much.